robots may want to wear your face, but at least they'll pay you for it. We discuss Australian Rain Men and whether the Air Force should upgrade to zip disks or jazz drives. And how long has it been since you heard a dial tone?
Surprise! It's us! Robot lady, sound the alarm.
Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour. Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour.
Don't waste my motherfucking time!
Yet another week in which we find out that as long as you say the word surprise first, you can get away with anything. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another wasted hour. As you know, the next hour is going to be replaced with two ignorant, uninformed, ill-advised, self-deprecating morons ranting about opinions which we have no right to have, which are probably wrong and absolutely do not matter. Our goal here at Another Wasted Hour is to convince you that where we hail from, just outside Washington, D.C., is not just a city of politics and scandals, but one brimming with art, music, and culture and surprise parties. As impossible as that may seem. So listeners, now that you know why you're here, live in studio, we have the one, the only, although doing 1,000 different things at once, Mary Jo Matea.
Hello.
Woo! Welcome back. It's been so long.
It has been.
We've tried to have you back, but you are so busy.
I'm very busy.
Yes. For those that don't know, she was on the show like 2 years ago, and we have emailed back and forth because you have like 8 different things. And so you're like, oh, I've got a thing coming up. And we're like, oh, it's not going to work right now. Or can you come in Tuesday? Nope, I've got another thing on Tuesday that I'm doing. So can't do that. So I'm so excited to have you back on the program.
I'm so excited to be back on the program.
We got you in here because you're doing a show on Friday, November 8th. It's an EP release show, brand new album EP coming out.
Yep.
You're going to be down at the Pie Shop, which at this point, everyone should know where that is because it's where all music is happening down in Washington, D.C. The EP is called The Other Side, and we have a track called The New Normal here on the show. If you want to listen to that right now, great news. You can fast forward to the 1 hour mark of this show and you can chill out with that track and then come back here and join us for the comedy and ridiculousness. But we'll have a little snippet of it a little later. I hear that you're actually going to be playing twice that night.
I am.
How is that?
Because both my band, which just goes by my name, Mary Jo Matea, and Color Palette are doing releases that night. Color Palette is releasing an album called Shed Your Skin. I'm releasing an EP called The Other Side. And both myself and Joshua Hunter are members of both bands. So we're going to leave our gear up on the stage.
Which version of you is opening for which version of you? She's like, she doesn't know.
So
she says, I'm just
I was trying
say.
to process that for a second. Okay, so it's a co-headlining show.
Oh, okay.
But insofar as the order of the bands, Mary Jo Matea is going second and Color Palette is going third.
But 2 headliners.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. So you get to headline twice.
I get to headline twice.
Any other bands playing with you?
Yeah, there's another band called Flower Bomb that will be playing.
Is there any chance you're going to join that band between now and the show?
Oh, gosh, I have no bandwidth. I mean, that's not a play on words. I have no bandwidth for another band. I just don't.
I feel like that they should make you at least come up with a tambourine or something just to fill out the trio, right? Like,
that's true. I mean, this isn't the first time that I've performed in more than one band in the same show, but I don't think I've ever done the triple header, you know? Like, I don't think I've ever played in all 3 bands in a 3-band bill.
We have to make this happen. What you should do...
You're trying to kill me.
Right. What you should do is you just hide backstage, and in the middle of your set, you just go, surprise! And you're like, I'm in your band now. I've learned, so the Republicans did that this week.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard that. They had a surprise party for the Democrats.
Yeah, they did.
In a closed session, which I adore. Because, so here's the problem I have with it, is that they probably did it like super serious, where they were like, we're coming in here and we're going to put a stop to these things. And like, in my mind, that's not how I wanted it to go down. Right. I just wanted it to
wanted them to literally Animal House the proceedings.
Well, yeah, I wanted them to like Pink Panther it or something, right? Where they're just like, they're in the middle of the proceedings and stuff. And then just, you see like, they're like, wait, who's there in the back? Like, I lost my contact. I'm just, Yeah, no, I'll be just a minute. And they're like, you can't be in here. Like, yeah, no, here it is. And like they just finding different, like just the entire Republican Party, like just all of the House. Is it the House that this happened or the Senate?
Yeah.
I think it was the House, right? Just
I don't know.
Half of the House, all the Republicans, they just all get dressed like in Domino's outfits, and they just come in like, pizza. Are there 200 pizzas? Did somebody order? No. Okay, must be a different chamber.
Yeah.
I'm like, how many different ways could they have broken in, pretending like they were supposed to be there? Like, wait a minute. Is that Orrin Hatch?
For some reason, I don't know why. I suddenly have a mental image of them dressing up as the SWAT guys from the end of Blues Brothers. Up. Get out of here. Up.
they all come in just custodial like clothing, and they're just we're just cleaning up there's a trash can. Do you need that cleared out? And they're like, you're not fooling us. You are the Republican from Idaho. Like
or they all come in with copies of The Watchtower.
See, there's so many things that they could have done to really make this entertaining, and no, they probably just went like, we won't stand for this. And I'm like, man, missed opportunities.
And the lead guy at the podium, I was reading, the caption underneath the photograph, which, by the way, it's all surprise, surprise, a bunch of white men. The caption is about this guy, I forgot his name, but so-and-so Republican from Florida, and I'm from Florida, so I was like, of course it's Florida. Of
Florida
course
man.
the guy's from Florida.
Florida man was in the Senate or in the House. Yeah. Oh man, I wish they had just come up with something super creative. If they just rolled in and they were like, oh, this isn't the main chamber. I thought this was no, okay. Sorry, we meant to be next door. Yeah. Like,
though, to be fair, Keith, we've often said the same thing about this own show.
That's true. I wish we were creative as well. But from time to time, we do this show wearing fake mustaches just to throw people off. So it hasn't worked yet, though. It's weird.
It's only for us, though, because we still don't video record this.
Yeah, it doesn't work for many reasons. One, it's audio.
It's purely for Keith and my own personal enjoyment.
Yeah. One, it's audio, so nobody ever sees it. And two, we already have mustaches, so it doesn't really work out. But it feels like we're really pulling one over.
We just want to make sure we have as many mustaches as we do chins to make sure we have balance.
How would you have entered into the House at that point? How would you have snuck in to be able to disrupt a closed session?
Oh, it would have been really good? If somebody like wheeled in a cake and you pop out of the cake.
That would be just like, is that why is there a cake?
Yeah. And this would probably work better for a guy or whatever, but if you like walk in with like a fireman's outfit and be like, I heard there's a fire in here, like, male stripper kind of deal.
That would just be amazing to see some of these like older like representatives, and then they just peel off like, oh God, no. Oh, you know what? End this. We do not want to be here for this anymore. Oh my God. Oh, all the witnesses have thrown up.
So in my head, I'm picturing like a bachelor party or a bachelorette party, essentially.
That's what the Republicans are just entertainers at a bachelorette party.
It sounds like the most depressing bachelorette party in the world.
I feel like if it was Republicans just being conservative, they would rip off like the policeman outfit, and there would just be like another policeman outfit underneath it. And you're like, what was that for? It would be one of those just black Zentai suits, but just the word censored across it. This is good. This is what we need in politics. A little lightheartedness, and then we could actually stomach all of the things that are going on.
Keith, I give it 5 years until we have actual strippers as part of Congress.
You think so? Are we going to have
5 years tops?
What was it? Comanche AK-47, or what was the guy from
Camacho Joe?
Camacho Joe, yeah.
I think that was his name.
It was where we had pro wrestlers as our president.
Yep.
We're pretty close.
Oh, is that from Idiocracy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's just up there with like AK-47s, like, Oh, we're
that
so
I give
close.
10 years. Strippers 5.
Yeah, 10 years. That's not even a lot of time politically, because that's like 2 like presidents from now.
I mean, you're right. 5 years, that's totally feasible. We have comedians who have become politicians. We have pro wrestlers
amazing.
who have become politicians. Jesse Ventura was a wrestler.
And in the Ukraine, did you hear about that one?
Oh, he was an actor
He was
playing the president.
He was a comedian who played he played a satirical version of the president.
Right.
And they were like, might as well.
Yeah.
How could it be
Can't be worse.
Yeah. He makes good points. Let's put him in. So, oh, it's hilarious. I love it. This is such a weird world we live in now. So once again, Friday, November 8th, EP release show at the Pie Shop in Washington, D.C. The EP's The Other Side. People can get that now, right?
No, the full EP comes out on November 8th.
Oh, okay. But
yeah, but there are a handful of singles that are available on Spotify and Apple Music and all of those other places.
You would crack me up right now if you said the EP is coming out at that show, but there are 5 singles that you can get separately.
You're not too far off. But I will say that what makes the EP in its like whole special is we're also putting out like a limited edition liner notes, because nobody buys CDs anymore.
Sure.
And it's an EP. It's not a full album. So like doing vinyl doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense for that.
Right.
So the bass player in our band is a graphic designer, and he put together these beautiful booklets that we'll sell that have download codes in them for those who like to own the music that they listen to. You don't have to use the download code if you don't want, but the liner notes will have like photographs, artwork, handwritten lyrics, etc.
And that's why you pick up a physical copy of something now, right? It's not because you can't get it online. It's because you get some of the backstory and some of the ethos that goes around this as well. So, so yeah, definitely worth picking up. And you own something, right? I think we do these for keepsakes and memories and stuff, because once your, phone goes belly up or something, Spotify shuts down, all that's gone, and you don't have that moment where you went somewhere and you experienced something and you have a keepsake from that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, what was it? MySpace dumped all of that music. Think about how much music just doesn't exist anywhere anymore.
Yeah, quite
that's
possibly.
the only place it was.
Yeah. You can go up to www.maryjomattea.com. That's Mattea, Mattea. Not only the tracks from the new EP, but also past work as well. And once again, you're playing with Color Palette.
I'm also going to be performing with Color Palette.
And they have an album coming out. Is that stuff at MaryJoMattea.com? Can they find your other projects?
Yes, there's a section on my website where I think it's called Meet the Bands, and you can click through the many projects of which I am a part.
All right, great. So yeah, we tried to get you on for Two Dragons and a Cheetah at one point.
Yeah.
And
see, I think you missed out by not making it so when you hover over, it just goes, where in the world is Mary Jo Mattea?
Oh, I might use that.
Yeah, no, this has to happen.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Sometimes he has moments of brilliance. Most of the time, it's terrible. But I'm
hitting that sweet spot of bourbon where I'm going to maybe get kind of funny.
Okay, so keep in mind, everybody, that in 10 minutes you'll be hearing the sounds of vomiting.
It's not that much bourbon.
All right, so yeah, go check her out live Friday, November 8th at the Pie Shop. In the meantime, we're going to find out a little bit of you're very versed at trying different things. You're in different bands. You wear a lot of different hats. We're going to try one more hat.
Okay.
We are going to make you the editor-in-chief of your very own publication. All right. We are going to pitch you some stories that we found on the internet. These are real stories, actually happened. You're going to let us know whether or not they should make it into your publication. And remember, at the end, we'll need a name for your publication. So
that's right.
Yeah, keep that in mind. So Adam, get us started.
Well, just in time for Halloween and yet another case of have these people never seen a movie? This robot wants to wear your face. You'll get $130,000 for sharing.
What? Wait,
so
what
a
does that
company
mean?
is making a robot that is, it just very briefly says it's supposed to like aid with seniors. Something about interaction with seniors. They're not coming out a lot of details because there's some kind of non-disclosure agreement involved in all this. But
it's giving aids to seniors. That's what I heard.
If you think you have a nice face, you can email a picture of yourself to this company, and if they accept, they will pay you $130,000 to have someone then sculpt your face onto this robot, which will then be replicated however many hundreds, if not thousands of times to be put in old folks' homes.
They sound like sex dolls for seniors.
I that's a horrifying image that you've now created in my mind, and I want it to go away.
And people have to apply to be the face of said sex doll.
It does seem
sex robot. Sorry, sex robot.
The most important part of this story is, Keith, I need you to also CC me on the email of you sending in your face to this company.
I think it's supposed to help seniors, not kill them. If it's an assisted suicide machine, then I feel like that maybe I have a shot.
But as many non-disclosure agreements as this thing says they have, it very well may be.
Because basically it would just be like, oh, here's your brand new robot, and the poor lady would just be like, it's a real live bear, and just die, like just heart attack, and then well, there goes another one. I don't even know. I'm trying to think of like when I'm 89 years old and I need like an assisted, like an aid robot. It wouldn't be a sex robot at that point, because the sex robot would be like, would you want to have sex? And I'm like, no. Like,
just kill me.
Yeah. Could you please just play dominoes with me? I think just my priorities are going to be completely different. I would just laugh at that robot. Oh,
or maybe it's just a robot that's designed to sit there and be very interested in the scrapbook of all your children and grandchildren.
I think what it does is call you every day. It's just yeah. That's it. Put the person's child's face on that robot.
Comes to visit on Christmas and Easter.
Yeah, exactly. It actually shows up. That's what this thing does. Yeah, I mean, I think that it just listens to your story again. That's what this robot does. Without judgment.
Without judging you.
Yeah, right. Without going, you've already told me this. It just is like, I remember that time where the squirrel with the baseball bat, and it goes, ha, 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 ha. That is such a good story. Like, God, I love you, robot.
Is it weird if I actually want to submit my face? I doubt it will actually work, but it would be one heck of an episode if I get to come on and tell you for the first weather report item that my face will now be a robot.
I'm slightly surprised you're not ordering one of these robots. I'll be honest. All right, so Mary Jo, is this news?
I'm going to say no.
No. Oh, a surprise upset. This might be my week.
I think largely because of all these non-disclosure agreements, we'd get sued if we published anything about this.
We would just make up all the disclosures. They're like, that's not even true. Nobody can tell us it isn't. All right, so not news. That is a blow to Adam's ego, in which he usually gets just flawless participation. Mine,
it's fine. Bourbon, you understand me.
Yeah, so inventor charging $50,000 for rain denies preying on farmers, saying we don't want to con anyone. Now, in their defense, the farmers only pay the $50,000 if they get at least 100 millimeters of rain that season, and if it's 50 millimeters, they pay half. And if they don't meet that threshold, they don't have to pay anything.
Why are they paying anybody at all?
To get rain. Yeah,
Has no one explained to them that that's not how meteorology works?
They're farmers.
This was like a whole thing post-Civil War.
Yeah. No, this has happened
How
before.
is it still a thing?
I mean, I know that the Trump administration is very down on science, but come on.
Well, so scientists want you to believe that you can't make rain. But no, for instance, let's take a moment, and if we're going to be scientific about it, what science is based off is observations, right? If I take a hose and I spray it into the air.
Have you made it rain?
Yes.
No, you've just sprayed a hose everywhere.
It is. what is rain really except water falling from the sky? Mary Jo, I feel like you're being closed-minded about this.
Keith, we all know the only way to actually make it rain is to carry a wad of bills into a strip club.
That's true.
And then you have to get that fanning technique down perfect. Otherwise, you just throw a big wad of money and you don't get the nice spray.
Yeah, no, so I think there may be some confusion. And what the guy is saying is, I would like to make it rain. Give me $50,000.
Okay, so now
all in
that's an
singles.
interesting twist.
Yeah, it's just all singles. And they're like, why does it have to be all singles? And you're like, you'll see. So yeah, this is happening in Australia, which I assume is an area that probably does need a lot of rain. It seems fairly desolate in areas of Australia. So I guess people are pretty desperate for rain. But yeah, I would kind of understand it if it was some type of guarantee that didn't involve you pay me if it works and you don't pay me if it doesn't work. Like, well, if it doesn't work, that's where I was to begin with. It should be like, if it doesn't work, I'll give you 10 grand because, right. Like, and then it's like, oh, that's kind of like insurance. Right. But no, it is a graduated scale of you give me money if nature happens. And apparently they can't stop him because of the way the laws work and stuff. I guess in Australia, like they can't prove, I guess, that he's not making the rain. And since he's only getting paid when it actually happens, it's basically payment for services rendered. So it's really fascinating. It's like they're...
Well, in this case, they probably don't have to bother stopping him because one of the local pieces of wildlife will get him eventually anyways.
Yeah, but there's another guy that provides wildlife for $10,000. So these are always fascinating to me. I love these kind of scam things because there was one years and years ago, and I think they ended up kind of closing the loophole on it, but it was in the back of magazines. They would be like, send $10 and we will send you a mousetrap that is guaranteed to kill mice. And it was just 2 bricks. Right. and you paid $10 for it, but it cost you $1 for the 2 bricks. So they made tons of money. They had to close that up. But it's very inventive. I mean, even when you get down to the pyramid schemes and stuff where it's like, you give me money and I will return to you more money from these people who are going to give me money. And yeah, so it's fascinating, I think. Is it news is the question.
I'm going to allow it in my publication only as like a cautionary tale. And then it has to be educational. Yeah. That teaches people this is not how rain is made. This is not how rain works.
Okay, so not so much an educational thing that says you should pay this guy or you won't get any rain.
Absolutely not.
No.
Because that guy's full of shit.
We're going to be closed-minded about it. We don't even know if he had a hose or not. I'm just saying. All right, so moving on. Adam.
Military has phased out the use of floppy disks to coordinate nuclear launches.
Well, thank God.
See, that's what most people would think.
Yeah.
Right? But think about this, Keith.
What?
You're a young hacker.
Yeah.
You haven't seen... You've grown up in the internet era.
Yes.
And you somehow break your way into a nuclear launch facility to hack the computers to launch something because you're some kind of terrorist.
Right.
And presented in front of you is an 8-inch floppy disk.
And you go, so the files are in the computer?
Basically, like they actually make a point in here that all the computers in here, they're going to be updated with new, quote unquote, very secure solid state drives. But then someone else made the point that all of the technology currently in these silos is pre-internet. You cannot hack anything that doesn't have an IP address.
Yeah, that is correct.
So maybe it's actually correct to keep the old floppy disks.
Yeah, maybe, but I would use a Jazz drive. Do you remember those?
I remember those.
Yeah, they were like,
you can't out old me on computers.
they were this like a company. We had our floppy disks and everything, and people needed bigger ones. What was the smaller version that was more popular? Do you remember?
Zip drives.
Zip drives. So zip drives were, and it was like 25 megabytes, and people were like, "What? That's insane!" Because like a floppy drive was like 4, right, or something like that.
Yeah, floppy drive. Yeah, floppy drive was like 4 megabits, something
4
like
megabytes,
that.
I think it was, right?
Yeah, 4 megabytes.
Something like
and then
that.
I remember my dad brought home an extra Jazz drive, and all of a sudden I can put my video games on that, and I could bring them to my friend's computer.
Yeah, and a Jazz
It
drive
just
was like
blew our
100
minds.
megabytes. And we were like, what? On a piece. But the thing is like one in every like 100,000 person had ever seen one. Right. And so
Yeah, I
even
don't
during that
remember
time,
those. You know, I grew up during floppy disk era.
Jazz
we had
drive.
Oregon Trail on a floppy disk.
Oh,
Yeah.
I had one of those Mackinac boxes, right?
Yeah.
And it didn't have a hard drive. And so you booted it up by putting a floppy drive in, a floppy disk into
right.
it, and you
that
booted
had
it up.
the operating system on it.
Right. And then you
Yep.
ejected that because now it had the operating system in memory. And you went, you know what I want to do? I want to write a letter. And so you put a floppy disk in with the word processor and you booted that into memory. Right. And you were like, dear grandma, you'll never see this because you don't know what computers are. Right. And you said,
But I'm sending you a robot with my face on it.
right. And you'd go to hit save and you were like, oh, and it would say, put in a save disk. And so you would eject the word processor and put in a floppy disk to save your letter on. Yeah. And everything was like that. I remember playing some type of like dungeon game where you went down to the dungeon and did stuff. And it would be like, you've reached level 2, put in the other floppy disk.
I think my claim to fame is it's not here with me, but back at my parents' house, I still have the floppy disk copy of the original Duke Nukem.
Nice. No, that's pretty impressive.
Haven't been able to get it to run in years, but I still have the floppy disk.
Yeah. So yeah, Jazz drive would be the way to go because even at that time, most people didn't know what a Jazz drive is. So your hacker would just
Yeah.
be like, what the?
So what you're saying is that the Air Force, instead of upgrading to solid state, should have just upgraded to Jazz drives.
Yeah, right. Because then,
I'm sure the nation's dads still have them in a moving box in the basement somewhere.
right.
You
I
can
might
get that
have
shit
one
for free.
somewhere. But a hacker would just be like, what is this gigantic floppy drive? Like, what do I even do with this? Which direction does it
You
go
could
in?
brain one of your siblings with one of these things.
Yeah, right. All right. So is it news?
Yeah, let's go ahead and say that that's news.
Yeah. All right.
I think so. I mean, it's also, I think you're totally right that they might have been better off keeping the floppies.
Yeah, although I don't know that if you want your entire nuclear arsenal to be able to be thwarted by a magnet. I'm not sure.
Fair point. But as far as the hacking situation, you're right.
Yeah.
Like a kid today would look at that and be like, what the fuck is this?
What do I do with this?
It
it a
would be like
coaster?
that
Why is it
Zoolander
such a
moment
big
of like
coaster?
the files are in the computer.
Yeah. All you'd have to do is put a fake like drive in the front of each computer and the real drive in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And that would thwart everyone, right? Because as soon as you'd be like, maybe it goes in here, and then you'd be like, how do I make this thing work?
Yeah.
And then-
You've seen these YouTube videos of like millennials trying to use the tech of Gen X or whatever. Like they don't understand how cassette players or VHS players work.
My favorite was 2 teenagers trying to dial a rotary phone.
Right.
Did you see that one?
I did.
They were like, you have 5 minutes to dial this phone number. And they were like, what the fuck is this? And they're like pressing the numbers. And they're like, they haven't even picked up the receiver yet. Like, and then they were like,
Yeah.
they picked up the receiver. There's a sound. I don't know why there's a sound. And they're like, that's a dial
That's a
tone.
dial
What's a
tone.
dial tone?
Yeah. No
It
one.
wasn't even just till I realized I haven't heard a dial tone in years.
Yeah. Remember,
I just realized that.
Yeah, we've not. If you are under 20 years old, you may have never heard a dial tone other than in a movie or something. Think about that.
Are they
That's
still
weird.
used in horror films when someone cuts the line?
Yeah.
Or is it just a click in silence? Like, oh God, the Wi-Fi's out. I can't call the police.
Right. No, I think the whole concept of cutting the phone lines to like make you helpless is so weird now, right? Because they're like, well, why don't they just use their cell phones?
The killer took out the house phone line and all 8 neighboring cell towers.
Right. Wow, that guy's serious. He brought a jammer. All right, so not that one was news. Excellent.
I heard you try to take away my point
Yeah,
there.
I
Don't
did.
you?
I don't want you to win. This isn't a competition, by the way. We're just saying that. It's only if I win is it a competition. Kmart pulls a quote-unquote offensive children's bridal costume off of shelves after complaints that encourages child marriage. That's a thing.
That's a real thing.
Yeah. Well, and they also pulled off all of their witch costumes because it encourages witchcraft. And they pulled off all of their astronaut costumes because it makes kids live in space. None of this makes any sense, people. This is the whole, like, we have to get rid of violent video games because it makes people violent, but you never see people just stacking blocks outside, right? Like, nobody was like, I played Tetris my entire childhood, and so I had to move all the office furniture into a way that it fits together. Like,
Right.
that's not.
Those people do exist. It's called band members when they have to load too much shit into a hatchback.
It
Yeah.
was useful. That's true.
Band Tetris is actually a thing.
That is Tetris in real life. If
Those
we-
people did grow up. They just joined bands.
Gear Tetris.
yeah, no, that is a thing. I take it back.
Our guitar player, Joshua Hunter, is the king of Gear Tetris. We usually just stand back and let the master do his thing.
Yeah, for the record, children don't encourage child marriage. Like, that's not
A
how that
parent
works.
would have to buy that for the child.
First of all, the child could be like, I want to wear a wedding dress, right? And they'd be like, a child could even be like, you know what? Next year when I turn 6, I'm gonna get married. And you're like, okay. The only reason in this world we've ever had problems with child marriages is because of adults. Like,
Yeah.
There's never been an epidemic of 6-year-olds marrying each other, right? Like, that's not been a thing where we're like, oh my God, look at this. There are tiny humans getting married and we don't know what to do. No, it's because gross 40-year-olds are like, I'm going to marry a 12-year-old. And you're like, oh yeah, that's the problem right there. And it's not because of Halloween. Like, Halloween has never been the issue here. I don't know. What do you think? What other costumes do we have to get rid of if we think that child marriage is being encouraged by wedding dresses?
I'm drawing a blank.
Like,
Because you're right. Like,
Because
I honestly can't think of anything.
it's so ridiculous.
right,
That's
isn't it?
why. Yeah.
Like, I've never seen a child grow up to be a cat. Like, no matter how much they like cats and how much they dress up like a cat,
right.
they've never just become a cat. Like,
Or a ghost or a pirate.
right. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's one
Or Darth Vader.
Well,
Yeah.
no, actually, the children of anti-vaxxers have grown up to be ghosts.
Oh.
I think they got you there, Mary Jo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, this is so weird to me. Like, if anything, if you want to avoid, if you think it encourages child marriage, the way to not encourage child marriage is not taking this costume off the rack. It's taking any Mormon costumes off the rack.
No.
Right? No? Okay, we've lost a lot of
What is a
people.
Mormon costume? White shirt, black pants, and magic underwear?
Yeah, definitely. And the ability to push yourself into people's houses. It's like secret power.
Oh, that's right. I forgot the copy of the Watchtower.
By the way, I will take that back because I don't know what they've done in like the last like 10 or 15 years, but Mormons are like incredibly like helpful and nice now.
Yeah.
It used to be like, I want to talk to you about my God. Like, can we have a discussion? Oh, how do you pray for your God? Like, it was very pointed. And now they'll just walk around your neighborhood and be like, you need help moving that? And like, that's it. And you're like, do you want to like a drink or something? Like, sure. And they're like, do you want to talk about God? And you're like, nope. And they're like, okay. And like, it's like so not pressure now. Right. It's like the opposite of like used car salesmen, which they used to do. And now it's just like, just in case you ever want to talk about God, here's my number. Like, have a great day. Have you seen this?
They call you every 2 weeks, like, hey, I just wanted to check up on you, make sure you're ready to talk about God now.
No.
Nope, still not interested.
Oh, okay. You need some help watching pets or something? So is it news, I guess is the question. We're pulling off child-size bride costumes because it encourages child marriage.
Yeah, let's put that in the news category.
We're putting in the news category.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Adam, what is your next one?
All right, so as usual, we've been having too much fun, so we're just going to enter our lightning round.
Always.
We're just going to throw headlines at you and go from there. Ready?
If you have questions, that's
And I
fine.
just say yes, no?
It's up to you. If you have questions, we're just not going to sell it
Okay.
as much because we didn't read them. But if you have questions, we'll gladly make things up about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why I put this one here, because I don't really need to sell it. Scientists have trained rats to drive tiny cars to collect food.
I actually heard that on NPR this morning. So that's obviously news.
Yeah. Do you want it to be in your publication?
Yes.
Of course you do.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it is. I just want to figure out if I can use tiny cars as shoes. Then I don't have to walk. It'd be great, right? It's like
they already made Heelys.
Yeah, but these are like motorized. All right. Proposed law will make the B word illegal in Massachusetts. I know what you're thinking.
Which B word?
Yeah. I did find out that it is bitch.
Okay.
I was hoping it was Boston or Belichick because that would make it really difficult for them up there. You know, the guy that plays, they're in he's a coach. They're in the city. Okay.
Wait, so read the headline again.
Proposed law will make the B word illegal in Massachusetts. Yeah, you won't be able to legally say the B word.
Yeah, that's news. People need to know.
I assume that you'll be able to say the B word. You won't be able to say bitch. But then we'll just start saying the B word, which is super dumb anyway, because everyone knows what you're saying.
Yeah.
The B word, please.
Right. You'll just say B word, please. and then we're like, oh, yeah, I know what you meant.
Yeah, people, this is news you need to know because you don't want to get stuck, get arrested or something for saying the B word.
Right. Yeah. We just have to move it all to the B word. Language is weird that way, right? We have the same thing with like the N word, right? Can't say the N word. Mm-hmm. Got it. No problem. But if you were to be like, you're such an N word, that would also be terrible.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so the problem is we have to get rid of the sentiment, and that's really difficult to do. And so we think the way to do that is we just ban a word, and then it's like, no, people just make up other shitty words to say the same thing.
Yeah.
And then we just
How many words for penis can you think of?
Right now?
Yeah. Probably like
1,600.
15. Oh, well.
Should I start? Do we have
I don't know if we have that much time left in the episode.
Okay,
Keith.
next episode, 1,600 words for a penis. Just so you know, that's the whole episode. We don't have a guest. All right. And if we do, he's a dick. So, all right, you again. All right. No. Oh, is that news?
Yeah, we still got one.
News.
That's news. Okay.
Student hacked into Downingtown area school district system to gain competitive advantage in water gun fight.
See, if they had floppy disks, this wouldn't have happened.
This wouldn't have happened. No. That doesn't make the newspaper.
The other guy, like, what is this? A jazz drive? I don't even know. How does this work? All right, so not news. I mean that. Shouldn't that kid get a scholarship?
I was going to say, I'm having second thoughts about that decision because the fact that he could do the hacking is the news. The water gun part is almost irrelevant.
But the thing is like, it's such a great juxtaposition, right? Because if it's like, kid hacks into system to change his own grades, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's obviously a real problem.
Right.
But It's like, at what point do you go like, I am going to do highly illegal things because I want to win this water gun fight. Like,
and I also cannot fathom how you would gain a competitive edge by hacking into your school's
I would assume that you have
system?
to spray somebody else with a water gun. So you hack in to find out what classes they have or things like that to be able to track them. That would be my thinking.
That's the only thing I can
But
think of.
in my brain, what I'm thinking is like, so grades are really important. So you would spend a lot of effort trying to get those changed. Mm-hmm. This was so easy for this kid that he was like, wow, I could probably gain an edge on this water gun fight. Like, I mean, how smart is this kid if that was the barrier of entry? It was like, water gun fight. How long could that take?
I'm just voting that he becomes the next Avenger.
Yeah, right?
I've had a change of heart. I think that is news.
I don't think it's
score.
All right.
Of course you don't.
Last but not least, researchers create smartphone case made of artificial human skin.
That's horrifying.
The look on her face right now.
Why? We have the Impossible Burger. It would just be a few different ingredients to make the Impossible Burger taste like people. Right?
Does anyone, well,
If you
I don't
can
even want to
mimic
ask the question that just popped into my head.
if you can mimic beef using beets and soy and everything like that,
But why would anyone want this?
why would anyone want the phone case or an Impossible Burger that tastes like people?
The phone case.
Oh.
Let's start with the phone case.
Because it's the only phone case that you can touch that touches you back. The look on your face is not going to work on radio.
I know.
But it's so great. Oh my God, we need a picture of this. The look was like, oh my God, he has a point.
Sure, why not? Let's make that news.
So, all right. As for the Impossible Burger, it just makes you a very valid when you say tell somebody to eat you, right? All right, so we finished it up. That is the whole thing. Did you think about a name for this new publication?
Yeah, this publication should be called Random Shit You'd Probably Be Better Off Not Knowing. I know that's a long title, but...
Will it be human skin bound?
Oh, gross.
We're classing it up.
Imitation human skin.
Okay, if you want to be like very specific about it, sure. What if we use artificial human skin to make a mold of your face for the robot?
For the robot. And we have now come full circle.
Yeah, all right. So there you go. I don't even remember the name of this, but go to your newsstand to look up things that are terrible that you shouldn't even know about or something like that.
Random shit you'd be better off not knowing.
There you go. Random shit you would be better off not knowing. Pick up a copy of that next week because it's awesome. So how do you feel you did as editor-in-chief of publication?
I think I did okay.
Yeah, I think you just one more hat that you could wear. Now you know.
Yeah.
All right, so let's find out a little bit more about the news that is on hand. First of all, you've got Friday, November 8th is your CD, your EP release show that's coming up.
I'm going to have it out on floppy disk.
On you go old school. I like
That's
it.
right.
Vinyl. This is on wax cylinder, bitches. So it's at the Pie Shop in Washington, D.C. The EP is called The Other Side. We've got a track from that called The New Normal. You can fast forward to the 1 hour mark of this show to listen to that right now, but we are going to have a clip of that. Let's talk a little bit about this. So what is The New Normal?
A New Normal is a song that I wrote when my Two Dragons and a Cheetah bandmate Joel Wu decided to settle in Minnesota.
Okay.
He had like previously taken a year off to travel the world.
Okay.
And it was sort of unknown where he was going to go.
Hold on for a second.
Yeah.
He traveled the world.
Yeah, he did.
And settled on Minnesota.
He's from Minnesota.
Oh,
so he does
okay.
have family there. He has lived there before. And I think he was actually maybe in a transitional period of going like, maybe he's going to go back to DC. Maybe he's going to go somewhere else.
Okay.
And while he was in Minnesota, he met a girl and that girl is now his wife and they live in Minnesota. Jury's still out on whether he might come back to DC or might go somewhere else. You know, he's a free spirit. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But the fact remains that I was out a bandmate and it was a 2-person band. So I had to think through some stuff. And he and I had talked about, you know, like, since we are just 2 people, we could keep this going just in a different way.
Okay.
And so the song is essentially about finding that new normal.
Gotcha. And what is the new normal? We know orange is the new black, but what is the new normal?
The new normal for Two Dragons and a Cheetah is we get together and we hang out and we goof off, and sometimes music is involved with that. And we made a music video actually,
but you're
over a Google Hangout not too long ago.
You're here in DC and he's in Minnesota. So are you doing this online? That's hanging out and musicking, or
no? I mean, like,
do you visit?
No, we visit.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I was out there in July, and I think before that he was here. Oh gosh, I can't remember the last time. He's always here around tax time because He has to have his accountant is here. So he always comes out around tax time.
That's what we call poor planning. That's fascinating. Okay. And where did you record this? So this isn't Two Dragons and a Cheetah. This is just you.
It's a song that is by the Mary Jo Matea band, which doesn't really have a name. It's just my name.
Were you the Two Dragons or the Cheetah?
Oh, see, that's a whole other can of worms. We could go down that rabbit hole if you want.
So this is just a Cheetah album, we'll say. But so this is just through Mary Jo Matea.
This is Mary Jo Matea. And yeah, the song is basically about finding a new normal for that band and just for myself in general, because there's a line in the song, and spoiler alert, where it says, while inspiration's on vacation, on location in Minnesota, and then it's just like a solo. It's like, this is what we're going to do while he's out there.
So where'd you record this? Who'd you record it with?
We recorded it at Ivacota Studios, which is in Washington, D.C. Okay. And our engineer's name is Ben Green, and he's pretty kick-ass. So for any musicians who are listening to this and thinking, where are we going to record our next thing? I can't recommend him more highly.
I'm glad you finished that sentence.
Great to work with.
I can't recommend him more highly.
He's great to work with, and I think the finished product was pretty good.
Excellent. And if people wanted to get in touch with you, they could go up to maryjomatea.com.
That's correct.
You got contact information up
I
there.
do.
So if they wanted to connect with the folks that you worked with. So let's take a listen. Again, the whole track is at the 1 hour mark. If you just want to listen to that, do that. But we've got a snippet of this that we want to play. Anything to set this up?
I think we set it up.
All right, excellent. So this is a track, the other from the EP, The Other Side, Mary Jo Matea's track, A New Normal.
Only 15 hours to go. Watching the clock like games. There's a new normal now. Figure it out somehow. We'll figure it out someday. Tell me a secret nobody knows. Whisper it to me before you walk.
Awesome. All right. So a lot of people don't know this as well. Since last time you came, you were also nominated for a Whammy, right?
A few
Whammies, right?
For like 3 whammies.
So that's pretty exciting.
It
too.
was really exciting.
Which ones were you nominated for?
I was nominated for Best Rock Song for the song The Other Side, which is the title track off the EP.
Which I think is I think we played that, did you have it years ago or not? Maybe I just heard it so many
I don't
times.
recall what we played last time. No. I was here. Oh my gosh. I was here to promote my last solo EP.
Oh, okay.
So it would have been a song off of that.
Nice.
So,
okay.
wow.
Yeah.
Oof.
Long ago.
What was the question?
What were you nominated for?
Best Rock Song for The Other Side, and then I think Best Rock Artist and Best Pop Artist.
Oh.
Because apparently if I wasn't one, maybe I was the other, or perhaps I was both.
You're
I'm
pop
not
rock.
sure. Yeah.
You're
pop
Candy.
rock is pretty much my genre, so I suppose that qualifies for both. So
all right. Excellent. Well, it sounds great. Again, fast forward to the 1 hour mark. I assume you're playing this live Friday, November 8th.
Absolutely.
We've
got this really badass extended intro when we do it live.
Oh, very cool. MaryJoMatea.com. Go check that out. Who would have guessed? We're having so much fun. We're running a little short on time. So let's see if we can blow through the game show we like to call Please God, Just Get One Right. This is where Adam dances. Yep. It's a visual gag on the radio, everybody. So
still waiting on my whammy for that one.
Yeah. You haven't been nominated for that, weirdly enough.
I know.
All right, so let's get us started.
It's almost like my slacker co-host hasn't put in my name yet.
So last week we had Taciturn on, Niall and Natasha. They're playing October 24th at Comet Ping Pong.
That's my birthday.
Ah, happy birthday almost.
Thank you.
taciturntheband.bandcamp.com. Go check them out. So you can still go see them and yell at them if you don't like this particular category.
Okay.
Are you ready for it?
Let's hear it.
Condiments.
Condiments. Okay.
Yeah, how you feeling?
I don't know.
Might-
We're gonna find out.
Might have a shot. All right.
I might have a shot.
Adam, get us started.
In this condiment's birthplace of Thailand, it is frequently used as a dipping sauce, particularly for seafood. In Vietnamese cuisine, it appears as a condiment for pho and fried noodles, and as a topping for spring rolls. What condiment am I talking about?
Hoisin sauce.
Excellent guess, but no, sriracha.
Oh, close. That was a good guess. All right, let's try this one. The original version of what popular condiment was actually a Chinese fermented paste made from fish entrails, meat byproducts, and soybeans. It's a tough one.
Oh, I'm
was
going to pronounce
surprising.
this wrong. Is
Okay.
it Worcestershire sauce?
You know, that was my thought as well. It isn't ketchup, actually. It is the
Oh, that was
origin
going to
of
be my
ketchup.
next guess.
Of
Oh,
course
wow.
it was.
It really was.
Yes. We're playing the new version where we get two guesses. All right, Adam.
Traditionally, pesto is a combination of crushed garlic, European pine nuts, coarse salt, basil, in a hard cheese such as Parmesan. What city did pesto originate from?
Well, I'm going to guess somewhere in Italy.
That seems like a reasonable guess.
Okay. I'm getting warmer.
I'm not telling you if it's right or not, but I would see the logic.
How
of that.
about Naples?
Naples?
Good guess. No, Genoa.
Genoa, of course, because it has nothing to do
I
with
feel
the
like I'm
word
like
pesto.
really close each time.
Yeah.
Close but no cigar.
Yeah, very close. A mustard is another Chinese invention with seeds being cultivated over 3,000 years ago, but it has been a great import in many civilizations. What famed emperor found mustard to be so great that he recommended the cultivation of this spice throughout his realm, as well as in the botanical gardens surrounding the monasteries in Parisian suburbs?
I have no idea.
No idea. No idea.
Which emperor?
Yeah,
No,
this
I
would be
don't
in
know.
Parisian suburbs. That's part of the thing to think about. No,
I'm just going to sit here like I'm not going to have anything to say.
Charlemagne. It was
Okay.
Charlemagne. Yeah.
Okay.
Very, very fond of mustard.
Interesting.
Adam.
Created by chemists John Wheely Lee and William Henry Perrins, this sauce originally consisted of a combination of barley malt vinegar, spirit vinegar, molasses, sugar, salt, anchovies, tamarind extract, onions, garlic, spice, and quote-unquote flavorings, which are believed to have been cloves, soy sauce, lemons, pickles, and peppers.
Is this Worcestershire sauce?
It is Worcestershire sauce.
You got it! Yay! We need a sound effect that has clapping. Why don't we have that?
Or we could just clap.
It's somewhere behind the queue of the world premiere.
Yeah,
Stinger.
no, that's true. Great, you got one. So we'll do the last one. This is just gravy at this point, which is a condiment.
Is it?
I would think so, right? Gravy is a condiment.
I think we can count gravy as a condiment.
Yeah, totally. You put on fries. That's a condiment. The answer to this is not gravy. In January 2011, a woman in Boise, Idaho, was sentenced to 27 days in jail after she pled guilty for dumping condiments into a local business more than a dozen times over the course of a year. The condiments included maple syrup, ketchup, and mayonnaise. What type of business was she garnishing?
A hospital?
That's a good guess. It actually is a library. She had been banned from the library and was very upset about it. So she kept pouring condiments into their book return. Yeah, which is not good for books. Funny enough, they found out. So unfortunately, you did not get
Why
that
are
one
the
right.
pages sticky? It's just a history book.
Yes.
It's not even the normal thing I did.
I'm very excited about history. No, it's just mayonnaise. I'm kidding. So You did win, though. You got one right.
Yay.
That's all you had to do.
I just had to get one?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean,
It's almost like we said that in the title of the
Yeah.
game.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
please, God, just get
Just
one
get
right.
one right.
So you get to reach into my sack of joy and get a prize. So let me get that for you.
This over here?
Yeah.
You want me to just get
No,
it?
I can grab it. That's fine. I want to bring my sack over to you. And wait, why are we laughing about this? While I do that, you need to think of a category for our next guest. So think about that. Just
So I'm gonna give you
Don't mind me. Here we go.
I'm gonna give you the trivia category that I would have aced.
They're not wrapped, so I need you to close your eyes when you grab into my sack.
Okay. Okay.
There you go. Just anything in my sack, just rummage around and just pull something out.
What is this?
What'd you get?
I got a notebook that has the ingredients for the world's best salami sandwich.
Yeah! There you go. Probably condiments too.
It does. It has mayo and pesto.
Oh my God, it's so topical.
So
Mayo
topical.
and a salami sandwich.
All condiments are topical. So,
Oh.
all right. So, what is our category? What do you
I'm
want?
going to give you the category that I would have aced, which is the Beatles.
The Beatles. Okay. I don't know. Have we done the Beatles before?
I don't think we've done the Beatles.
We've done some
before.
like classic rock stuff and things like that, but I don't think we've done the Beatles themselves. Okay, so maybe a softball for our next guest. We'll see.
I'd say it's gonna be kind of difficult to come up with really difficult ones.
Right. How to spell the Beatles. All right. Excellent. Well done.
Thank you.
So let's jump into this. We've only got probably a couple minutes left, I think. So let's jump into our near and far segment and find out a little bit more about you. So
That's what it's all
about 2.5 minutes. Do you want to talk about cross-pollination? Is that enough time, you think? I think it's pretty fascinating because you are in so many different projects and
Yeah.
have met so many different people. How did this all start?
I'm going to try to do this in 2.5 minutes.
Do it.
All right. So Two Dragons and a Cheetah
Yeah,
was me and my buddy Joel.
got it.
We played a show once with the Silver Liners
Okay.
and Dance for the Dying.
Okay.
Jay Niemeyer was in the Silver Liners. Joshua Hunter was in Dance for the Dying.
Right.
That show that all three of us played was the last show for the other two bands.
Oh, wow. Both of them broke up.
Both of those other bands dissolved. And then
That was really a
Jay
dance for the dying.
Niemeyer started a new project called Color Palette.
Okay.
Joshua Hunter joined Color Palette.
Yeah.
The drummer for Color Palette was also the drummer for the Silver Liners. So,
Oh, okay. So this all just came together.
yeah. And then Color Palette asked Two Dragons and a Cheetah
Yeah.
to play a show with them.
Of course. Makes sense.
Right. So we actually played, Two Dragons and a Cheetah played the first show that Color Palette played.
Okay.
And then when Joel made this decision that he was going to travel around the world, we decided we were going to have like one big show before he left
Mhm.
and invite all of our favorite bands that we played with over the years we were together.
That makes sense. A reunion.
One of which was Color Palette.
Okay.
And one of Jay's friends from Chicago was in a band coming through town. One more minute?
Yep.
Okay. And that band was called The Kickback, and they were looking for a show to hop on. So
Okay.
Jay said, can they join our bill? And I said, sure, why not? More the
Okay.
merrier. The bassist for that band is a guy named Eamon Donnelly,
Okay.
who fast forward now lives in D.C. and plays bass in my band.
What?
Um,
Well, that's all kismet.
when he got back into town, he like got in touch with me and was like, I'm looking for some music projects. I was like, I might have one for you.
Mhm.
And then over time, I remember telling Jay, you know what Color Palette needs? A female singer. and I wasn't necessarily advertising myself, but it ended up being me that got that job. So that's how I got involved with that. So it's all cross-pollination.
That's amazing. We actually recorded at Inner Ear Studios once, and on the walls of Inner Ear Studios, there's like a family tree of all of the post-punk bands and how everybody was related.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I should do that.
Yeah, it's super fascinating. You should definitely do that. Send it over to us. Once again, Mary Jo Matea playing Friday, November 8th, along with Color Palette. Their EP release show at the Pie Shop in Washington, D.C. Go check them out and go up to maryjomatea.com and like and friend and, you know, all the things you do to people that you like. Most importantly, please like our posts, follow us, retweet us, and share the show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We cannot do this without you. Also, don't forget to review us on Facebook, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play. If you're an artist, musician, or culture creator in the DC area, we want you on our show. Email us at booking@anotherwastedhour.com. Thanks to engineer Adam, Kevin Evinger, McNally22, Justin Rogers, Big Metal Records, Big Metal Studios, and Chemical Records for all their contributions. Most of all, thanks to our guest, Mary Jo Matea, and you, our fans, for wasting a perfectly good hour with us. This has been another wasted hour, and if you just realized that, don't blame us. We warned you.